And we're live.
All right. Okay, so next up is the lame duck report that I jumped the gun on earlier. So Jennifer, back over to you.
Thank you. Through your worship, I'll just do a very quick high-level overview. This is a normal bylaw brought forward by municipalities during an election year. If it's uncertain that 75% of your current outgoing council will be returning, in order to ensure continuity of business, the current outgoing council will pass a bylaw that authorizes the CAO the necessary delegated authority to continue business as usual. Of course, the temporary delegation of authority will allow the town to carry on business as usual, ensure the town's financial interests are protected. The town's procurement decisions will remain fair, open, and transparent, follow the town's procurement policy. And so the outgoing current council, if 75% are not returning, which we're at that uncertain stage right now, lame duck period could take effect on nomination day, which is August 19th, or voting day, October 24th. And the restrictions of council are that the appointment or removal from office of any officer of the municipality, the hiring or dismissal of an employee, the disposition of any real or personal property of the municipality which had a value exceeding $50,000 when it was acquired by the municipality, making any expenditures or incurring any other liability which exceeds $50,000. And so before you this evening is bylaw 24/2022, which will delegate authority to the CAO should the current council go into a lame duck situation.
Okay. Any questions for Jennifer? Last election cycle, because it was guaranteed that 75% would not be returning, we did the same sort of thing. So yeah, to Jennifer's point, this is sort of a routine matter to cover things off in the event that this should happen. So, if there are no questions, then can I have a motion to receive the report and to provide for the reading and enacting of bylaw number 24/2022, which is a bylaw to authorize the delegation of authority to the CAO for certain acts during the lame duck period after August 19th, nomination day, to the swearing in of a newly appointed council. Moved by Councillor Bonato, seconded by Councillor Hall. All in favor? That's carried.
Thank you.
Okay, next is bylaw to appoint our deputy clerk. So Jennifer, do you want to make the introduction again formally? A few of us met Alice before the meeting started, but
I sure can. So joining us this evening is our new deputy clerk committee coordinator, Alice Bylaw. Alice joined the town on Monday, May 2nd. This is her first council meeting with us. She previously was working for the township of Basel-Toronto in the same capacity as deputy clerk. So Alice is a welcome addition to the staff team.
Alice, welcome. Do you want to add anything? Again, no pressure, but
just wanted to say thank you, and I'm excited to be here and work with all of you.
Very, very happy to have you part of the team. Councillor Bonato?
Just quickly, can you, through you, worship to Jennifer, can you provide us with her contact information as soon as possible, so that if we need to contact the town, not only bothering you all the time, but we can contact Alice with the information?
Lucky you, Alice.
I sure can, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder then for the bylaw to appoint Alice as deputy clerk? Moved by Councillor Fegan, seconded by Councillor Buffett. All in favor? That's carried. Congratulations, Alice, it's official. Okay, next is a resolution from the Heritage Committee recommending that we rename the Simon Court Park Heritage Park to honor and recognize historical and heritage events and residents. So Councillor Wagner, I see you moved that at the committee level. Do you want to make the motion here and then speak to it?
Sure.
Okay.
you want me to speak to it now?
Go for it, and then I'll ask for a seconder.
Okay. Yeah, so basically it's just the idea kind of came, you know, while looking around some of our parks and what we can, you know, what we currently offer now. And I sort of thought how unique it could kind of be to have something that would be a collection of, you know, our historical history within the town. So we were trying to choose a park that was large enough to potentially support our idea moving forward. And then hopefully something that wasn't, you know, currently named after someone. So although this is Simon, you know, Street or Court Park, what we're looking to do now moving forward with a report from the staff is to make sure that it isn't, you know, named after someone for a specific, you know, person or whatnot. So that it could facilitate a name change, and it hopefully is just called that because of the street it's on. The thought moving forward for this park would be that the Heritage Committee would, it's sort of a little pilot project or a project for them, where what we would do is erect plaques or information similar, I guess you could say, to the back naming or the back lanes naming project. So, you know, you have a little picture, you have some information, and it's sort of a visual plaque that people can read while they're there. Just highlighting again some of the historical, you know, aspects of Shelburne, you know, the mill, the train station, the old hospital, you know, specific you know, communities within Shelburne as well, you know, the land that it currently resides on and stuff within that nature. So it's sort of, I mean, I'd like it to be not, you know, sort of self-sustaining, I guess you could say, where we can ask for donations, you know, if a certain family or founding family of the town would like to have a plaque, you know, made, maybe they can sponsor that plaque, or a business could sponsor, you know, a plaque if they've been in town for a really long time or have roots beyond, you know, what we consider just, you know, a recent business or whatnot. So, you know, it would basically be the Heritage Committee that would sort of facilitate this and come to council with, okay, this is the plaque we would like, and, you know, we'd like it installed and whatnot. So moving forward from there, you know, maybe a small garden, a bench, something of that nature. This current location too is sort of central. It's sort of the best we could come up with, you know, being walkable and, you know, near the Shelburne or the Dufferin Oaks and the Burnside buildings and whatnot that are there as well. So yeah, so I mean, hopefully that's kind of the thought process moving forward. But the first step, I guess, is a report to make sure that we are not removing the name from someone in particular.
Okay. Is there a seconder for the motion? Councillor Fegan. Okay. So again, the motion is to receive the resolution from the Heritage Committee, and then asking staff to bring back a report at a future meeting, sort of setting out what next steps are involved. Councillor Fegan, did you want to speak to that as seconder?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if there's a lot that I can add to it. It's, I mean, we've been working really hard as a Heritage Committee to make sure that we do celebrate the history of the town. We've got back lane plaques. We have the heritage buildings with the plaques as well. We're just looking for other ways that we can share the history, knowing this town has been around for a very long time, and it does have a very rich history that a lot of people maybe don't know about. So this was a great way that could have sort of a central historical walk, if you would, right within a very small area that people can get a lot of the history.
Okay. All right. Councillor Bernardo?
I have no issues with any of the idea. I think it's fantastic. My only concern, and I know Simon Street's been there since the 1970s, and Simon Park has been there since that time frame. And I believe, I agree with you, it's probably named after the fact that it's on Simon Street and Simon Court is the naming of the park. I don't believe it's named after anybody, and all the time that I can remember. The issue I have is, and I'm hoping that staff will follow through, is the questioning of the people that utilize it and are in the neighborhood. are they in agreement as well with the changing of the name? And I'm hoping that that is followed through that way so that we don't afterwards have any issues with people within that neighborhood and the name change. So if they can do that as well when they come back with their report, making sure that we have, neighborhood agreement on the name change and that they're in support of the Heritage Committee's idea, I think it's fantastic. Absolutely. So that's the only thing that I would request when the report comes back.
Is that something, Jennifer, that we could use bang the table for?
Absolutely. We could have some public engagement that way as well. Yeah.
And then that reaches people beyond, just Simon Court. I mean, realistically, those are probably the people that use the park the most. But I mean, I know when we lived on Andrew Street, it was a short walk, and we use that park quite often too. So at least that would give everybody within town an opportunity to comment on it. Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Yeah, I'm hoping that these efforts can be extended to that mural that is right across the street from Town Hall as we talk about our history, because I'd love to see that redone. And I know it's on private property, but I'm hoping that the Heritage Committee is in contact with the owner to see what could be done to really spruce up that important piece that is such in a focal location. But other than that, I agree with the entire concept of honoring the history. I think history is important, and I agree with Councillor Fegan that there's probably a lot that even myself that I'm not aware of, and I think having a central space that people could sort of literally walk down a history lane, I guess, if you want to put it that way, I think is a good idea. I do have a question for Councillor Wegner on this point, though. When you say submitting the plaques, what would be the requirement? You said if there were businesses or organizations, what would be the requirement for that?
I think it's sort of such in the infancy stage right now that, obviously that would be something we would definitely have to look into and sort of create a criteria for, a guideline even, maybe, it's hard to say kind of like what would be the first plaque we would do, right? So I think within Bang the Table, we could reach out to the community and maybe see what plaque they would like to see as the first one that would be erected in the town, right? Or what criteria maybe they see fit as well to be added so that, when something is chosen, it fits sort of a guideline that the community would like, not just, 5 of us on a committee, right? So if we can reach out to a larger number of the community to really give us a handle on what they would like to see as the criteria for these, plaques or whatnot being erected, then we're really engaging everybody, right? So yeah, I think it's still a little early to kind of say just yet, but we welcome anyone's input for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just on that point, are there any updates with respect to that mural? I don't want to open a can of worms, but I mean, I know that's been an ongoing discussion for a number of years at the Heritage Committee back when I was a member of it as well. So, Jennifer.
Yes, I can update council that that site right now is currently under site plan review through planning and through consultation. They have been to the Heritage Committee to discuss that mural. Right now, the owner of the property is seeking some fundraising and donations to revitalize that, and it will be eventually revitalized. Yes.
Okay. And Jennifer, digital photos were taken of it sort of before it deteriorated to its current condition. So there is at least some digital record of what it looked like earlier on, which potentially could be used to recreate something. So, okay. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, just very quickly, Mayor Mills, on Jennifer's point about the fundraising. I just wonder, first of all, I guess maybe the question is, how much would that cost, A, to get done? And then part B of that would be, would there be any appetite for us to contribute to that, considering the significance of it and where it's located? So let's say it's $5,000, would we be prepared to put in 1/3 of that to facilitate that project, understanding it's sort of in line with the sort of heritage theme that we want to take throughout the town and sort of highlighting our history. So, if we leave it to the developer and fundraising, is that going to be done 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road? And so I just put it out there. Do we know the cost? And do we have the appetite to contribute to that cost, similar to what we're doing with the splash pad, for example?
Jennifer?
Through your worship. So as I had noted, that site right now is currently under site plan review. There will be a staff report forthcoming from the town planner that will include those details, including the mural, the costs associated to revitalize that, which is what we've been told is significant. And so the Heritage Committee has discussed perhaps a donation to that as well. And those that are donating to it will be recognized on the plaque, the new train mural as well. But there is a forthcoming staff report once site plan review has been completed from the town planner for overall approvals through council.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. We got a little bit off topic there, but that's fine. It was a good discussion. Back to the original motion. Is there anything else that anybody wants to add before I call the vote? Okay, all in favor then? It's carried. All right, the Heritage Committee was busy, obviously, at the April meeting. So the next item is another recommendation from the Heritage Committee, and that is to look at installing a heritage plaque at 104 Robert Street, and to provide a copy of the resolution outlining the history of the subject property to the property owner for their consideration. And I think by way of a bit of context, my recollection from my time on the Heritage Committee, normally these sorts of things are initiated by the property owner themselves. They make an application and kind of provide the historical justification as to why their property should be recognized. There is no building on site there. That this is a property obviously where nobody lives, but does hold significant historical value from the community's point of view. So I'm assuming the committee's taken it upon themselves to suggest that a plaque be installed. Okay. So Councillor Fegan, I see you made this motion at committee. So I'll offer you the same courtesy as Councillor Wagner if you want to move this one.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor Mills. This property has a long history, actually, and we as a Heritage Committee kind of struggled to figure out specifically what we would name this or how we wanted to designate this. And through the history, what we've discovered is that it has a long history of like medical backgrounds. Like it's been many different. It was a hospital. It was hospice. It was all these kinds of different things. And the building was there for a very long time. So we decided that we didn't want to recognize only one use of what the property was, but rather celebrate essentially what it has been for the significance of its life, really. And that's basically where we landed at this point. But again, decided we wanted to bring it forward to council just to get the resolution put forward for the plaque.
Okay. Is there a seconder for that motion? Councillor Buffett? Do you want to add anything to that, Councillor Buffett? Oh, you're muted. There we go.
Sorry, but my screen is kind of touchy for some reason. Anyways, when we were at the unveiling of the new financing for the new owners of the site, I had a long talk with them, and he said he's excited about having that in the park, so he has no problems with it.
Good. Okay. Anybody else want to speak to that? Councillor Bernardo?
I agree with Councillor Buffett. I was there and I also had the same conversation with the owner, and he was very supportive of it and totally in agreement with it. So I don't see any issues on that part as far as getting something put up there. And the history of the of the place is significant to myself because members of my family worked at the Austin residence when it was a nursing home, and I've known the history right up to the point. And if you look again at the Rose book on the history of Shelburne, you will find history on the original owner, who was a salesman of cars, as well as when it was turned into a hospital. So the John L. Rose book has quite a bit of history as well on that, which we can pass on to the owner, that can be put onto the plaque. So it is a central walking part, and a lot of our youth walk by there. And I think it's important for the youth of our community to know the history of our community, along with the new people moving into the community.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a prime location, gets a lot of foot traffic to and from the high school in particular. Deputy Mayor, did I see your hand?
Yeah, just very quickly, Mayor Mills. I love this idea. Yeah, I love it. Here's my question. Is this information going to be, this is for either Councillor Fegan or Councillor Wagner. Will this information also be on the town's website? And I'm wondering if we should have a dedicated page where people could go and sort of see the different historical spots within the town. So the plaque there is great, but I'm wondering whether there should be something on our website where people could go to it and sort of see where they are and sort of maybe plan their day as to where they're going to go and see these different items that are within our town. So I'm just wondering if that's at the discussion stage with the committee.
That's an idea.
Keep going through the mayor. We have discussed it at the committee level. I don't know that we've gotten too far with it. Jennifer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that we've brought up the idea of going onto the website a few times. And I know that staff is more than willing and happy to help out in getting that done. It is in discussion stage, and certainly something that I personally would like to see.
Okay. Jennifer, did you want to add something, and then I'll go to Councillor Wagner?
Just quickly, through your worship, that the Heritage Committee does have information on our website currently under the committee, Heritage Committee, similar to Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee, Accessibility Committee, all of the past information, research, that sort of thing, walking to a brochure, back lane, naming, all of that information is listed under the Heritage Committee's designation on the website. There is no specific location for that, but that information regarding downtown business core, there's been significant research done in the past, and it's all listed under there.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? No?
Jennifer kind of covered it for me. I was just going to mention what she said.
Okay, perfect. All right. All in favor? Okay, are there any notices of motion for this evening? I know we talked generally about some potential ones. Councillor Bernardo?
Just going back to that motion referring to the DEI committee, that's not a notice of motion, that is a motion, and I don't know where it's coming up.
It's not coming up because
It would be a notice of motion.
Would be a notice of motion to refer it back to the DEI committee.
Yeah.
And I believe that the deputy mayor was going to make the motion and I was going to second it, so I'll leave it up to him to make that motion.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't want to take your spotlight away from you.
Does that work for you, Deputy Mayor?
It's all good, man.
Okay.
Whether it's Councillor Bernardo or myself or anybody, it's all good.
Okay, so just so we have kind of enough specificity here for Jennifer and Al's taking minutes. What exactly do we want to list that we're referring to DEI?
I believe we were referring back to the DEI on the flag, the cost of the flag, and possibly coming out of their budget for that costing. On the crosswalks, that they do the research with staff throughout the community as to which crosswalks would be suitable for the It's getting old. My mind is slipping here. On the, sorry, Deputy
Every
Mayor, on the Aboriginal children that were lost, I believe that was the reason for it.
Yeah.
And possibly working with the Debbie on creating the wheel that she mentioned,
Medicine wheel.
the medicine wheel.
Okay, yeah, I'm just referring back to her presentation. So the crosswalk in Orangeville is called the Every Child Matters crosswalk. So for the purposes of the minutes, if we refer to that or something similar, and medicine wheel and the flag. Was there anything else?
Yeah, there was the request, but our CEO, Denise, spoke about the request that came in from the school. So I think all that will be subsumed in the discussions at the DEI level.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll get that on the agenda for the next meeting. All right, any other notices? No, okay. All right, on to communications. Councillor Fegan.
I think I'd like to pull out number 3 because I'd really like to recognize KTH for all of their donations and everything that they continuously step up for the town. The fact that they're willing to donate $5,000 to it was the tennis courts, the pickleball courts, and yeah. So the fact that they're willing to donate another $5,000 again to this, I think it certainly deserves recognition.
Absolutely. No, that's good. Denise, did you want to add anything?
Certainly. So we're very appreciative of the donation. Councillor Fegan had let us know, obviously, in advance, and it's on the agenda. It's exceptionally helpful because we have now been able to achieve 2 courts within the approved budget of just 200,000. We're marginally over, so the $5,000 gets us there. We rejigged the budget to look at scope. So what's great about having a little bit more is we will not have just 1 court with 10-foot high fencing. We'll have 2, which we know that a lot of times it's great to have both sports having access. It also gives us greater flexibility for tournaments or leagues to actually get established. And the other thing about the project that we've been able to confirm is that based on the surfacing that we're going with, we're pretty confident that in the winter we can convert this with obviously the tennis court, pickleball court removed to a skating path or skating rink, a small pad. So it gives us a great flexibility year round. And then, for example, not that it wouldn't be a great success for pickleball and tennis, but let's just say it wasn't sports. Again, we're not anticipating, but as a backup plan, the reason we want the surfacing that we're choosing is then tennis can be easily used for basketball with that surfacing. So we'll have more of an update at the next meeting for you on timelines. Our goal is still to have this done mid to late August, so that there's still a couple of months at least of use. And then we will be in touch with the pickleballers that are in town and the tennis players, and potentially creating partnerships with other regional clubs that might be able to provide lessons. So that's just a quick update and how appreciative we are, and the staff, I know you are as council, of the contribution.
Great. And Councillor Hall, recognizing that you're not wearing your KTH hat here and you know, at the risk of potentially blurring the lines, thank you, and please pass on our collective thanks to your company for that contribution. And as Denise said, that sort of got us over the hurdle and made it possible to have 2 courts there instead of 1. So thanks very much.
Well, I know that the group at the plant that makes these decisions was very pleased with being able to do this. I know it is referred to in the letter. With regards to future endeavors, I have asked them to maybe, go outside their current, because as you can see from the last 4 years now, the focus has been on KTH Park, first off with the 20-year anniversary commitment, this now sitting here, and knowing that 25 years takes place next July. So to maybe broach out into maybe other areas of the town, or other sports and recreation, as that is a key item there with regards to work-life balance.
Good. Well, thank you very much, and we'll stay tuned. All right. Anything else in the communications list? No. Okay. Can I have a motion then to receive all of the items listed under that section? Moved by Councillor Bernardo, seconded by Councillor Fegan. All in favor? That's carried. There is no closed session. Can I have a motion for the reading and enacting of the confirming bylaw? Moved by Hall, seconded by Buffett. All in favor? Carried. And just before we adjourn, I should have mentioned this during council inquiries, but I forgot. The Canadian Creamery and Emporium, which is located directly across from Town Hall, housed in the building that has the train mural that we were talking about earlier. That's what made me think of it. They are open for business. I had a chance to have kind of a quick impromptu tour the other day. I just happened to be walking by, and the owner was there and took me in for a quick tour. It looks great. And I've heard nothing but rave reviews from anybody who's stopped in to try it. I think some of our own staff have patronized it, perhaps more than once. So that's good. But all of this is to say that they are going to be having their official grand opening on May the 14th at 12 o'clock noon. And I was asked to extend an invite to the rest of council for anybody who can be there. I'll be there, and certainly would appreciate seeing anybody else who can make it on the 14th at noon. Have some ice cream, and hopefully it's a nice day, and sit outside and take a break. Councillor Buffett.
I just wanted to add that Councillor Wagner and I enjoyed the ice cream on Wednesday after our heritage meeting, and it was amazing, to say the least, which means I'm probably going to gain weight again because it's right across the street from the hall. But I'm looking forward to having them there. So.
Well, luckily the day I took the tour, I didn't have Rory with me, but he did notice it the other day when we drove by. So I have a standing date with Rory that'll probably be this weekend. Anyway, so with that,
we have gone multiple times.
What's that?
I said we have gone multiple times already.
That's good. That's good.
Even Gibson has had their pup cup. Say that fast. So yeah, it's a wonderful place.
Good. Looking forward to trying it. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Councillor Renato, seconded by Councillor Hall. All in favor? Carried. All right. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your night.